Coming up on Chapman News, President Trump takes center stage at the NRA convention today in Dallas as the gun industry faces backlash and activism.
And more than 100 Uber drivers accused of sexual assault, one victim reportedly a Chapman student.
And marijuana in your coffee? Not quite. This chemical makes you feel better, but doesn't get you high. That and more today on Chapman News.
Good afternoon, Orange County. I'm Justin Thompson.
And I'm Sabrina Santoro. This is Chapman News. We have a lot to cover today, so let's jump right in.
President Donald Trump speaks at the National Rifle Association convention in Dallas. It comes at a pivotal moment in the debate about gun laws across the country. CNN's Camilla Bernal is live in Dallas with the story.
Coming up on Chapman News, President Trump takes center stage at the NRA convention today in Dallas as the gun industry faces backlash and activism.
And more than 100 Uber drivers accused of sexual assault. One victim reportedly a Chapman student.
And marijuana in your coffee? Not quite. This chemical makes you feel better, but doesn't get you high. That and more today on Chapman News.
Good afternoon, Orange County. I'm Justin Thompson.
And I'm Sabrina Santoro. This is Chapman News. We have a lot to cover today, so let's jump right in.
President Donald Trump speaks at the National Rifle Association convention in Dallas. It comes at a pivotal moment in the debate about gun laws across the country. CNN's Camilla Bernal is live in Dallas with the story.
The annual convention of the National Rifle Association putting tens of thousands of gun enthusiasts, sellers, and more under one roof. Last year, for the first time, a sitting president addressed the NRA, and this year will be no different. But since President Trump's remarks last year, the country experienced its deadliest mass shooting in modern American history at a concert in Las Vegas. And two others that shocked the nation in Sutherland Springs, Texas, and Parkland, Florida. The shootings brought new outrage and protest around gun violence, a significant portion of which directed at the NRA.
I understand you're standing up for the NRA, and I understand that's what you're supposed to do. But you just told this group of people that you are standing up for them. You're not standing up for them until you say, I want less weapons.
In the aftermath of the shooting in Parkland, President Trump said he would be open to raising the age of purchase for rifles to 21, expanding background checks, and more. But after meeting with NRA officials, he ultimately walked back some of those proposals. Now he and Vice President Mike Pence are set to address a sold-out crowd at the 147th annual meeting. It's one expected not only to draw supporters from across the country, but a fair share of protesters as well.
President Trump has called the NRA a truly great organization that loves this country.
And now joining us today is Chapman University English professor and author Tom Zollner. Thank you for joining us.
Good to be with you.
I think a lot of our viewers would be interested in hearing about the original founding of the NRA and where their roots lie.
Yeah, it's very different from the way that the NRA is today. It was founded by a New York Times reporter, a Union War veteran who was concerned that the Yankees weren't shooting as well as the rebels in the Civil War. And so he wanted to promote good aim and responsible keeping of rifles. This organization has drifted, suffice to say, a long way from those original humble roots.
And can you tell us a little bit about the demographic of its current supporters and members today?
Demographic. Politically, of course, leaning conservative, although when it comes to beliefs about where handguns should be, where rifles should be, the NRA membership is notoriously more liberal, actually, than its leadership. Surveys consistently show, for example, that almost 3/4 of their members want stiffer background checks. This is totally opposed by the leadership.
Well, obviously the NRA getting a lot of attention now, making a lot of headlines in the wakes of these shootings. Do you believe they have as much influence as it appears to be, or is that getting overblown?
I think it is overblown. I think that the reputation of the NRA is actually greater than its actual influence. It's known for terrifying swing state congresspeople to say, hey, vote our way or we're going to primary you from the right. But the NRA can be stood up to.
And in 2015, you wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post about the NRA. Can you tell us about that and if your stance at all has changed?
Yeah, we talked about the earlier, more humble roots, more sportsmanlike roots of the NRA. The big year for that changing was 1977, when a group of hardliners staged a coup at their annual convention in Cincinnati. And my idea was that coups can always be reversed, that some of these moderates within the NRA membership might be persuaded to form a voting bloc and seize power from the hardliners.
And And I believe your article cited 74% back in 2015 of the NRA members do want universal background checks. So I'm wondering, why do you think that 74% hasn't been able to stand up yet and change their views to a more reflective one of the group as a whole?
They have, the leadership is aware that there might be a coup from within, and so they have made the leadership parliamentary procedure Byzantine, really hard to overcome. You know, my supposition is even a failed attempt, I think, would hearten the moderates within their midst.
All right, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Tom Zollner, everyone. And newly released body camera footage from Las Vegas police gives a closer look at the tense moments for police following the October 2017 mass shooting that killed 58 people and injured hundreds more. The 2.5 hours of footage includes the moments before, during, and after police entered the shooter's room on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino. Police found over 20 AR-15 and AR-10 style rifles in 2 adjoining rooms. Law enforcement officials say the shooter used bump stocks, which enable semi-automatic rifles to fire more like automatic weapons. And automatic weapons, of course, are highly regulated and hard to obtain. Despite the release of the videos, the shooter's motive for carrying out the deadliest shooting in modern U.S. history is still a mystery.
After an investigation stemming from a Christmas Day murder back in 2016, police say that they were able to arrest 85 gang members while seizing 36 guns, 14 pounds of meth, 3 pounds of heroin, counterfeit money, credit card readers, and stolen cars. This incident has been tied to a Mexican mafia gang in Orange County. According to Orange County Under Sheriff Don Barnes, the arrests represent a very small percentage of local gang members, but the arrests will affect the Mexican mafia's local trade.
A 37-year-old robbery suspect died after going into cardiac arrest while being booked Tuesday at an Orange County jail. The inmate, whose name is being withheld, was booked Tuesday in Santa Ana when he became uncooperative with deputies. Sheriff's officials said the man lost consciousness as deputies attempted to control him. He was taken to a hospital where he died on Wednesday. The district attorney's office is leading the investigation into the inmate's death. And coming up on Chapman News, web reporter Brittany Simmons fills us in on all the internet news we missed this week, like pomp and circumstance interrupted by pelicans.
And it turns out that living in Southern California isn't as great as some might think, at least according to one study. We'll hear what Chapman students have to say.
And I'm Jackie Alves bringing you your weekly weather forecast and 5-day forecast. Stay tuned.
Stand up for what's right. Chapman University. Passion, perseverance, teamwork, integrity. Create value in the world. The School of Law at Chapman University. Lead. Follow your dreams. Chapman University. History, philosophy, peace studies, languages. Study abroad and explore the world. Become a global citizen. The Wilkinson College at Chapman University. Invest your humanity. Lead.
More than 120 Uber and Lyft drivers have been accused of raping, forcibly touching, or kidnapping their passengers. That's among other crimes over the past 4 years, according to a report by CNN. Some drivers were arrested or named in civil suits, but others remain wanted by police. One Chapman student claims she was sexually battered by a Lyft driver after a ride last week. Reporter Logan Stevens has the story.
Last week, a Chapman student reported getting sexually battered by her Lyft driver outside of the Sandu Residence Center. The student had fallen asleep on her Lyft drive back to the dorm area and woke up to her driver touching her inappropriately, to which she quickly exited the vehicle. In response to the event, Chapman University Public Safety sent out a warning to the entire student population to make them aware of the incident. Besides recapping what had happened, the email also told students that there still might be a threat in the area and to be careful. The event has shaken up and surprised many members of the Chapman community.
I'm thinking back on it and thinking about how scary it is actually to trust someone to drive you somewhere safely, especially if it's late at night, or if you are going from somewhere where you're unfamiliar with. I'm also surprised because I found out afterwards that it's more common than I thought it was.
Some students have even come to wonder if they should continue to use taxi service apps such as Lyft and Uber, and if these apps are even as safe as they once thought.
I think this makes me more hesitant now, knowing that there are bad people out there that could harm us, and I'd just rather be with a trusted friend that is taking me somewhere, or somebody that I know, rather than a complete stranger, because I don't know if I can trust them.
The driver of the Lyft was described as a white male who had gray hair, glasses, and who drove a white or silver four-door car. Anyone who has any information at all regarding the investigation is told to speak with public safety directly. No matter where you're going, it's always important to stay aware of your surroundings. So please, stay safe out there. From Orange, I'm Logan Stevens, Chapman News.
Of the 103 Uber drivers accused, at least 31 have been convicted for crimes ranging from unwanted touching and false imprisonment to rape. The company also stated last week that it plans to hold 500 nationwide community meetings for drivers and passengers to discuss this issue.
An investigation by the Washington Post says there are far more allegations of sexual harassment against former CBS News anchor Charlie Rose than previously estimated. The report from the Post found 27 additional women who say Rose verbally and physically harassed them in the workplace, citing that management at CBS had been warned at least 3 times over a period of 30 years. Rose was fired from CBS This Morning and 60 Minutes in November after 8 women told the Post he had groped them, exposed himself, or otherwise inappropriately interacted with them. Rose denied the allegations and told the Post in an email, quote, "Your story is unfair and inaccurate."
For 100 years, the Boy Scouts were for boys, but not anymore. On Wednesday, the organization announced an official name change, the new name Scouts BSA. It's meant to evoke the past and convey, quote, the inclusive nature of the program going forward. The organization has already started admitting girls into the Cub Scouts, and Scouts BSA will begin accepting girls next year.
With the legalization of marijuana in California earlier this year, one of its components, a chemical called CBD, is being used in food. Infused food and drink items are everywhere these days, and now there's another to add to the list, CBD-infused coffee. Our resident foodie reporter, Gianna Gravelisi, checked out a new local coffee shop that serves it. Take a look.
I'm here at Coffee Dose in Costa Mesa, where this little coffee shop puts a unique spin on their lattes. Let's go see how.
I'm Amy Duncan. I'm the founder and CEO of Moellen's CBD Wellness Company. Coffee Dose has a Mary Jane latte, which is your traditional latte with our CBD Nano blend in her piece. CBD is short for cannabidiol, which is one of 100 plus cannabinoids and terpenes found in the cannabis plant. And CBD has all of the benefits and the plant properties that help us to live better lives. They help us remain calm and balanced and less stressed. So overall, we can see it as more of a superfood than really a component of cannabis. Our Inner Peace product has 0 THC, so there's really no risk of even failing a drug test or anything like that. So just being able to kind of open your mind to taking something new is all that we can ask. The community and the vibe of this place is just so alive and exciting. I think that Coffee Dose and Moellen's, the partnership here, has been more than I could ever ask for.
So come on down to Coffee Dose, get yourself a Mary Jane, and enjoy a latte that tastes good and makes you feel good. I'm Gianna Gravelisi reporting from Costa Mesa, Chapman News.
CBD has been found to provide medical and therapeutic effects without any of the psychoactive properties of the THC found in cannabis. Because the oil does not contain THC, it can be legally sold across the country.
Well, you might need some of that coffee for this next story. Southern California has been ranked as the 25th worst region to live in the nation, or the 101st best, depending on your perspective. U.S. News & World Report ranked the region based on its housing costs and average income. But not everyone agrees, including some Chapman students. Here's more on the story.
Southern California, best known for its beautiful beaches, beautiful people, and delicious food. As a tourist hotspot and vacation destination, one might assume that people are flocking to Southern California. But that's not the case according to a recent U.S. News & World Report study published in the OC Register. Southern California consists of Los Angeles, Orange, San Bernardino, and Riverside counties. With Hollywood, Disneyland, and big sports markets, how could this area rank 101st best region to live in the United States? Our crew went out to centrally located Chapman University to ascertain how we could only be one ranking spot ahead of Toledo, Ohio.
I would say it's definitely one of the nicer places you could live.
That's very surprising because the weather, and also just from personal experience, like my family's from Seattle and they're actually moving down here this summer because they want to live here. So
I'm from Hawaii, and the weather's perfect. It's kind of the same, like the same vibe. And honestly, like I kind of like living up here a little bit more, to be honest. There's so much more to do, Disneyland, traveling. So yeah, I totally disagree with that. I love it up here.
I'm pretty shocked, to be honest, because I feel like I hear more and more about people wanting to move here, especially where I'm from New York.
New York City. I'm from New York.
Nice, I'm from New York. Southern California has amazing weather, has great people, fresh food, and everyone's on the go. It's like a very active place.
Two bad things that I could see why people would not want to live down here is one, the traffic's horrible, and two, it's really expensive to live down here.
I don't like it here.
Why don't you like it?
It's hot, it's dry, it's dead and brown. It's not my favorite.
While expensive housing has driven people from the area and landed SoCal 86th in net migration, there is no denying people would like to live here, as it ranks 18th in desirability. Many analysts attribute this disconnect to a shortage of high-paying jobs available to adequately compensate young professionals. Recent statistics seem to suggest that professionals move to urban areas for their careers before ultimately coming back to Southern California to enjoy their retirement.
That was Ella Vandermeulen reporting Southern California's best trait was its desirability, according to the national poll. But its population growth hurt its ranking as a region. And according to the study, the 5 best places to live are Austin, Colorado Springs, Denver, Des Moines, Iowa, or Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Southern California might be one of the least affordable places to live in the U.S., but it sure does have some of the most beautiful weather. Coming up after the break, I'll have your full forecast.
And next on the Best Campus Sports Show, Hunter Spriggs spoke with me about the progress he's made in his battle against leukemia, and that and more coming up after the break.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it? You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Good afternoon. Ooh, Got a technical difficulty. Good afternoon, Orange. Now, before we kick off this week's forecast from the Kilauea eruption in the Big Islands of Hawaii, we have some pretty amazing footage. Now, this is a time lapse of the eruption that's happening right now. Thousands are being evacuated. So for us, aren't you glad it's nice and sunny out? SoCal, today it is hot. We are talking 83 degrees and slowly climbing up to the 90s. Lots of sun and lots of rays to soak in. Now, today in Westminster, it's going to be hot. We're talking 82 degrees. Here in Orange, like I said, 83 to 87 degrees. Down towards the beach, we're going to be staying closer to the 80s. In Mission Viejo, it's going to be a nice hot 86. And down in San Clemente, a 74. Now for the bigger SoCal area, in Los Angeles, it's going to be staying nice and hot at 82. Same with Avalon at 80. Anaheim, 89, so for those at Disney, might be a bit of a scorcher. Now up at Big Bear, it's a little bit on the cooler side, staying to 68 into the low 70s. Palm Springs, nice and hot, almost reaching 100. Now for this week's forecast down here in Orange, Friday today, nice and sunny. Again, 87 with a low of 59. Saturday, it's going to be keeping that same trend at 91 degrees with a low of 58. Moving into the weekend, Sunday, we're going to see a little bit more cloud coverage at 82 with a low of 56. Moving on to Monday, 79 with a low of 58. And then back to those rays Tuesday, 80 degrees with a low of 58. Now, like we say every week here on Chapman News, head down to the beach. It's going to be hot and that sand's going to be warm. And for us at Chapman, well, we're going to be preparing for those finals. So stay sunny, California. I'm Jackie Alves, and I'm going to be tossing it over to Tim Wolf and Brad Benson with the Best Campus Sports Show.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Best Campus Sports Show. I'm Tim Wolf.
And I'm Brad Benson.
And we've got lots to get to today. But first, Athlete of the Week. Is that right, Brad?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Panthers junior outfielder Liz Runge had quite the week at the plate. She hit for .571 and drove in 6 runs in a doubleheader against Pomona Pitzer. This offensive performance earned her Athlete of the Week honors. I met up with Liz out at the softball fields where things got a little sticky. I'm here with Athlete of the Week, Liz Runge. Today, we're going to be ninjas. Fruit ninjas, that is. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's go. In addition to being named Chapman Athlete of the Week, you were just named First Team All-SCIAC. How does it feel to be recognized after a long season of hard work?
It feels pretty good. You know, I can't complain. I put in a lot of work. I had a lot of other people helping me. My hitting coach, Mike Foisey, was really helping me out too. Like, just overall, having like great teammates and great support and great coaches really just helps.
All right, she just got a perfect score. So she kind of set the bar a little high for me. I thought I was gonna come in doing pretty good, but now I gotta be perfect. That's a lot of stress. So you're going to be a senior next year. You're going to be one of the leaders of the team. What's your message for the younger players that are coming in?
Just to really give 100% all the time. You know, we're all out here. We're all stressed with school and trying to get things done. But when you're out here, you're out here. So let's just give it 100% and make it to the tournament. You missed one.
Defeat by one cutie. Okay, so the athletes are going to remain undefeated. I lost by one cutie, but I did lose to perfection, so that's not too bad. For Chapman News, I'm Brad Benson.
So 0-2 to start off your Athlete of the Week career, Brad. That's not so good.
Yeah, well, you've been losing all year long, so I think I got quite a while to get a win.
Well, that's That's not important, Brad. That's not important. But you know what is important is a story that we've been following since last fall, which has an exciting update. Panthers junior offensive lineman Hunter Spriggs was diagnosed with leukemia nearly a year ago. Through his battle with the illness, he stayed here in Orange to be with his team and train for the possibility of returning to the field next season. He's now healthier than ever, and I sat down with him to talk about his progress. I started off by asking Hunter about his health since we last spoke to him.
Since then, I've been basically diagnosed as cancer-free. I mean, I still have cancer cells, but they're not going to really replicate where they're at. My medication's working great, still taking it every day. So I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain. Made great strides in my health, and I'm absolutely happy with that.
You said you were in dead man's land in our last interview. Your blood was solid. What is that like coming back from that? And now, what's that sense of relief that they're telling you you're okay now?
Well, it's nice because I have a lot more energy. I don't feel tired all the time. It's a lot easier to put on muscle. It's just not so much like the psychological relief as it is like the physical relief. You know, my body's like normal for the most part. So being able to like do things like just about everyone else can do, again, is very nice. You know, still have that energy is great.
Are you excited going into the next season?
Well, we had spring ball, and that went great. You know, everyone did fantastic. I felt like I made a lot of improvements over the last year's performance. Got a lot stronger, got a lot faster. You know, I'm working out 4 days a week, running 3 days a week. And I feel like I'm really back to normal for the most part.
If you knew somebody who was in your situation from a year ago, what would you tell them?
I would tell them no one's going to feel sorry for you. Because it sounds bad, but no one's going to feel sorry for you. So don't feel sorry for yourself. The day you feel bad, the day you feel really terrible, is the day you need to go out and do stuff. It will suck, but it'll make you feel better. It kind of comes back, like, don't sit and wallow on the ground. Like, get up and, like, get out and, like, do something. Push yourself every day. It'll suck, and sometimes you'll feel like you're alone in the fight, but you're not. You're never alone in the fight. There's people you don't see who are backing behind you. It's the people who step forward that are your true friends, and you know are there with you. Martin Luther King best said it is, like, if you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But whatever you do, don't stop moving. It's just like that kind of attitude. Like, just don't quit. I mean, if you quit, you're done for, and no one's going to feel sorry for you. But don't quit. I really think that being conditioned to think that way is contributed to like where I'm at right now.
Hunter will be an active player in the upcoming season, and he told me because of his redshirt season, he may stay on the team and get back his missed season. So, Brad, that's a pretty awesome story. Can you top that with Highlight of the Week?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to top that, but I do have something pretty good for you. Utah Jazz rookie Donovan Mitchell defended his slam dunk title in Game 2 of their series against the Rockets on Wednesday night. Here, take a look.
In a hurry. Crossover, Mitchell into a reach. Oh! He came in hot and went up high. And when you get that hot, you've got to come in hot. Oh, my goodness. Woo! Watch this kid. Up, off, and down with a hammer.
The Jazz went on to win the game and tie the series at 1 apiece.
So after a play like that, and Ben Simmons only getting 1 point the night before, that Rookie of the Year battle looking a little bit more suspect.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Donovan Mitchell might have slammed his way into that Rookie of the Year title.
That's a pretty good one, Brad. I like that. I like that. Well, that's all we got today on the Best Campus Sports Show. I'm Tim Wolf.
And I'm Brad Benson.
And we'll see you next week. Same Panther time, same Panther channel. Take it easy, everybody.
Kanye is at it again. Find out what he said this time that's got the internet going crazy.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
April 30th was National Therapy Animal Day, and St. Joseph's Hospital in Orange celebrated by throwing their therapy dogs a thank you party for all they've done in the hospital.
Dozens of dogs walked all around the hospital to greet staff and patients, and of course there was some dog-friendly cake for the pups to enjoy. One therapy dog owner says that the dogs are so beneficial because, quote, "A dog is the only thing on earth that loves you more than he loves himself." That's so sweet.
It's a great story, and I think cute dogs are one of the things the internet loves most. Speaking of which, what do you have for us? What's trending online, Brittany?
Yes, so there is a lot this week. Have you guys heard about the newest addition to the Guinness Book of World Records?
Nope.
Or how about a pelican-infested graduation?
Tell us more.
I know, okay. So first, a home run that turned into a home walk on Monday. Let's take a look. After being told to run as fast as he can to home base, 3-year-old Lennox Salcedo took matters into his own hands, running from third base to home as slow as he possibly could. The crowd went wild, though, as Lennox continued to walk in slow motion, taking in the moment for himself. Lennox even had a little push from his dad, but brushed off the extra help, continuing his slow motion walk and sliding into home base. Next up, let's hope no one stepped on this sculpture. The Guinness Book of World Records just added a spot for the largest Lego brick cherry blossom tree ever to be created, and it's definitely something to see. The tree measures over 14 feet tall, 17 feet long, and 16 feet wide, and consists of over 800,000 Lego bricks. After close to 7,000 hours of work, the tree was shipped off to Japan, where it is now being showcased at the country's Legoland theme park. At night, the tree even glows in the dark, providing the perfect picture opportunity for guests. Guests can enjoy the structure during the park's anniversary, which started in March and ends this weekend. Next up, imagine if at your graduation, the audience got attacked by birds. Well, at Pepperdine University in Malibu, that's exactly what happened. Let's take a look. The university had 2 unexpected graduates last week at its graduation ceremony. 2 pelicans landed in the audience, literally crashing the event. Photographer Grant Dillon was focused on a student receiving her diploma when he saw her jaw drop, prompting him to turn his camera around and to start filming the chaos. Dillon said that what he captured could have easily been straight out of Jurassic Park. The reactions to the bird frenzy varied. Some people screamed, others laughed, while one woman even lost her hat. The birds were thankfully gathered safely, and once the crowd calmed down, the ceremony continued. It's definitely a good thing that Chapman isn't close to the ocean, because with my fear of birds, I would definitely be freaking out if that happened. Lastly, I decided it was finally time to feature a meme in this segment. This meme started taking the internet by storm earlier this week, and features the character Gru from Despicable Me. In the movie, Gru has a very unique accent, which means that words like girl are pronounced like
Girl, girl,
Girls.
girls, the girl, girls, girl, girl,
Girls.
girls, the girl, girls.
If you didn't catch that, it sounds like girl. And people online are taking advantage of this, replacing popular phrases, movie titles, and songs with the word girl in it and giving it a Gru spin. Let's take a look at some of the best examples I found on Twitter. First, Twitter user @OKJulie took all of the members of the Cheetah Girls and replaced their faces with Gru, changing the title to the Cheetah Girls. Next, @Cathartic Soul changed Beyonce's face to Gru, changing the response to her song Who Run the World from girls to girls. @CJ_Alinger took a more real-world take on the meme, using a picture of a sorority and changing all of the members' faces to Gru, captioning it Sorority Girls. Lastly, at FPC, Thespians changed Sebastian's face from The Little Mermaid to Gru, changing the song Kiss the Girl to Kiss the Girl. Well, that's definitely a meme I won't be forgetting anytime soon.
It's one of the best memes so far.
Definitely.
And now that we know what's trending online, we can find out what's going on in entertainment.
So we're going to toss it over to our favorite girl, Gianna Grivelisi, in the Entertainment Center.
Thanks, guys. Girls. There's been a lot going on in the entertainment world, so let's get to it. After Bill Cosby's guilty verdict last week, R. Kelly may be the next celebrity to be held accountable for sexual misconduct, according to the Time's Up movement. On Monday, Women of Color, a subcommittee within the Time's Up movement, posted an open letter about Kelly. In the letter, they call on major music corporations like Spotify, Apple Music, and RCA Records to cut all ties with the R&B singer. Hashtag Mute R. Kelly started last year in response to decades of sexual assault allegations against Kelly. Hollywood A-listers like Ava DuVernay, Shonda Rhimes, Kerry Washington, and others have taken to social media to support the campaign. Celebs are also calling out someone else, Kanye West. At this point, we can't get away with not mentioning what he's been up to. Since his return to social media last week, Yeezy has become the world's most famous internet troll. It all started on Twitter when the rapper posted a picture of his signed MAGA hat, called the president his brother, and tweeted a fake Harriet Tubman quote. Then, the rapper made an appearance on TMZ Live, where Kanye may have revealed a little too much about the inner workings of his mind.
I don't think people necessarily understand what...
Just my subconscious. It was a feeling I had, you know, like people were taught how to think, we're taught how to feel. We don't know how to think for ourselves. We don't know how to feel for ourselves. People say feel free, but they don't really want us to feel free. And
Yikes. Now, on to my favorite artist, who's making waves on social media for a good reason. After keeping a low profile for months following the Manchester terror attack at her concert, Ariana Grande made an appearance on Jimmy Fallon last week, making the episode the most special of the year with over 3 million interactions. And she even gave some details about her new album called Sweetener.
It's kind of about like bringing light to a situation or to someone's life, or somebody else who brings light to your life, or sweetening the situation, yeah.
Till July 20th for it to come out, but she did reveal the titles of 4 new songs: R.E.M., The Light Is Coming, God Is a Woman, and Raindrops. For now, I'll just jam to her new single, No Tears Left to Cry. Something else that happened this past week was the Newport Beach Film Festival. This year, filmmakers from over 50 countries showcased their films. Reporter Caitlin Chan has the story.
The 19th annual Newport Beach Film Festival concluded last night after 8 days of screenings, red carpets, and galas, attracting over 50,000 festival goers. The festival has become increasingly recognized internationally as one of the leading lifestyle film fests in the U.S. Not only was the festival inclusive to films from around the world, Newport Beach Film Festival CEO Greg Schwenk aimed to focus on reflecting the huge diversity of Southern California. Film screenings included regular feature and short films, documentaries, and music videos, as well as less commonly seen categories like action sports films and the newest addition, a culinary film series. This year opened with Sundance favorite American Animals with American Horror Story star Evan Peters, and ended with a screening of All Square with House of Cards' Michael Kelly, followed by a closing gala.
One of the films screened at the festival was directed and produced by Chapman's very own Kendall Goldberg. Our entertainment producer, Amy Delgado, sat down with her to talk about the process of making When Jeff Tried to Save the World.
I've been working ridiculously, like non-stop. I work on this movie every single day for the last 5 years.
The film, titled When Jeff Tried to Save the World, was written, produced, and directed by Chapman alum Kendall Goldberg. The story follows Jeff, the manager of a rundown bowling alley, who does everything he can to save it after discovering the owner's plans to sell the property.
He's afraid of what's ahead without this big central piece of his life still there.
The film's main actor, Jeff, is played by none other than Napoleon Dynamite's John Heder.
It's kind of a little bit dramatic, like what he's trying to salvage here.
and he's more of a funny actor.
There's definitely some funny, heartfelt moments in it, but yeah, like you said, he's known for playing this comedic actor, usually these character roles in these comedies, and this is different. This is different, and he plays probably the most dramatic role of the film.
Goldberg got the idea at the end of her freshman year, with the end goal always having been to make it into a feature-length film.
It was always meant to be a feature. I did not want to make it short, did not want to make it short, because I was already making them here.
But that was easier said than done.
Then we sort of took a step back when we realized we needed to find the financing. It's such a high-risk investment. Any movie in independent film is high risk, but this is the highest risk because it's a first-time feature filmmaker. I'm a young and fresh out of school, and no one really wants to write me a check for what I want the amount to be.
The project took a total of 5 years to complete. And today, less than 1 year after graduating, Goldberg is back at Chapman to screen and talk about her film, along with 2 of the film's actors, John Heder and Steve Burr.
I always knew as soon as I had a movie that I could come bring here I wanted to, because I had a great experience at Chapman, and I credit the people that I met while I was here, both directly and indirectly because of the school. I credit part of that to the reason I was able to make the film.
Amy Delgado, Chapman News.
Ariana has no tears left to cry, and I have no more entertainment news left to give. That's all I got for you this week. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Gianna. I love Napoleon Dynamite, so I'm going to have to check that one out.
Oh, absolutely, and we always love to support our fellow Panthers here at Chapman News. And you can log on to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Chapman News to see all of our episodes, Chapman News reporters' bios, and top headlines.
And make sure you also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chapman News and YouTube at youtube.com/Chapman News.
That's all we've got for you this afternoon. I'm Justin Thompson.
And I'm Sabrina Santoro. Be sure to tune in to our last show of the school year next week, live at noon.
Have a great weekend.